Hello everyone! Holiday Wither here, and welcome back to another episode of 80 Days! In the last episode, we had an interesting journey across the desert and managed to arrive in Baghdad. And today we're going to pick up where we last left off and see where we can go. First, I want a plan. So we're in Baghdad. We can go to Tehran, which arrives on Tuesday. Manama, which arrives on Sunday. And then we have Hal, that is 440 miles away. To be honest, I think our best bet is Tehran. So, I think this departure could be altered. Well, let's negotiate, shall we? Thoroughly ungentlemanly behavior. No thank you. So let's go to the market and see what they have. We have an American train time travel. Some leather gloves, part of the open road kit. Do we have the open road kit? No, we do not. Well, there's nothing to do here, so let's get out. And let's go to the hotel. We're going to have to wait, to be honest. As night fell, I polished our shoes and hat brims to better ready us for our inevitable departure. So we can go to the bank, or we can depart. We can depart? Oh, we can go to Manama. Let's depart, shall we? Thankfully we have some dusty road gear, so it's gonna be a little uncomfortable, but we should still be fine. We found a driver without difficulty and clambered aboard. A 2-day journey? I asked, by way of confirmation. 3, the driver replied. How much to make it to 2, then we go a different way? I'm not gonna disagree, so I'm gonna nod. I nodded. Good enough. The driver stoked the engine, and we were away before we could argue. Well, let's converse. Greetings, Monsieur Driver. Hold on. So let's begin the conversation about Dubai. I understand one can sail by fishing boat from Manama to Dubai, but the journey is a tiring one. You mentioned boats. I've been told one can sail from San Pedro to San Francisco. Oh, San Francisco? What more can you tell me about San Francisco? Not just that, but you can buy revolvers in San Francisco. Extremely valuable in New Orleans. Oh, so we can buy weapons. New Orleans, then. Could you tell me more about New Orleans? Yes, but you can obtain trombones in New Orleans that will sell for a fortune in New York. Well, now we have some new routes. We have San Francisco to San Pedro. But we're continuing our journey. The road from Baghdad south took us on a mountainous ridge that offered spectacular views across a desolate land on either side. This way is often used by camel trains, our driver explained. If we see one, I will gun the engine and see if we can make them kick. Sounded like entertainment. It's not seeming very gentlemanly to behave. Which I kept to myself, however, in the interest of keeping peaceful relations with the small cockpit of the car. I mean, that would make sense. You want to keep peaceful relationships with the person driving. After all, they are in charge of you, after all, and that'd be interesting. So let's groom Monsieur Fogg, which should heal us. Thankfully, it did. The second day was uneventful. The desert stretched open and empty on either side. This used to be green fertile land on the driver's side. Recently? The driver was clearly a patriotic man. Yes, perhaps so, he answered. But it will be again. They have great plans to irrigate. Where would they get the water? I demanded. The Persian Gulf has plenty of water, he replied. And with all the airships, we will soon not need the fast steamships from Manama to Bombay. It will not matter if the whole Gulf turns dry. To remove one desert by creating another seemed foolish, but I did not say so, and we fell out of conversation again. By nightfall, we have arrived on the coast of the Persian Gulf, where we stopped in a small town for hot stew and thick, syrupy wine. The sound of strange night creatures filled the air, but at least it was cooler here by the water. But now we have a new route. Oh man, that is a route. Can we groom? Can we groom, please? Yes! We can groom again and get back up to 100 health. And lost no health. Good. Today we drove along the coast through market town after market town. The water was thronged with boats rigged with single wide sails. Most were fishing, but some seemed to career around the bay for mere sport. The long, slow setting sun was unbearably hot. The views were worth savoring. Oh, well that was bad. Even though the sun became uncomfortably hot, we both rather badly burnt, but we did get a marvelous view of the fishing vessels leaving Manami's harbor, bound for Dubai and further on. Sometimes, they all seemed to pause, to wait for an airship to fly overhead. I asked the driver about it, and he nodded. They have a sea gun in Muscat, he explained, to prevent pirates from shooting up at the airships. When the gun is out, there's nothing to do but wait. A formidable weapon, clearly. To hold back so many boats at a time? Still no camels, the driver reported, with clear chagrin as we arrived within sight of Manama. Expressed little disappointment at this. I asked where we might find some, and he looked at me with enthusiasm. There are camel trains that leave from Hali in the desert, he said, and you hear some interesting things about what they find. Then we disembarked, unloaded the cases, and waved our driver off in the distance. And we have now arrived in Manama. There seems to be no departure today. We should explore. And that is what we will do. Why would we go back? British influence over Barian has been cemented with the signing of the perpetual truce of peace and the friendship some 20-odd years ago, which made Manama a town of most congenial to Monsieur Fogg's particular taste. I bought some Darjeeling tea from a vendor who supplied the British residents Bouchier. Monsieur Fogg showered me with appreciation, which is to say he gave me the slightest of nods. He's not a demonstrative man, but I dare say I am growing used to it. Your funds have gone down, but relationships have strengthened. Well, let's depart. So we have this to Dubai and Muscat. Let me actually zoom out. Where is the United States? So we do have paths. Wow, I thought we were halfway across the world, but we're not even close. Well, this is where I want to go. So let's embark. But we can only have two. Two. Well, let's pass the night. Oh, that's a problem. We can only carry 2 suitcases. Before going to bed, I afforded my master every service, providing him with clipping mustaches with the hopes he would have a restorative night. Relationships have strengthened. I mean, I guess we could depart. This is where I want to go. The cabin has space for 2 suitcases, but we have 4. Well, I'm gonna hire more. We have 4 suitcases, uncomfortable conditions, and mild seas. This looks like a wearisome route, but the traveling cloak from our gentleman's traveler set could be good. Actually, I want to go back. Can we mark it? Traveler set? When did I get the Darjeeling tea? I bought it. Gosh darn it. I'm selling. I don't need it. Gonna buy the driver's cap. Now we're gonna depart. This is where I want to go, embark. This is gonna be a pain on our health, but it should not be hopefully a big deal. And again, I guess we'll find out sooner or later. The Hedel was a steam yacht with barraquint sails and a compound steam engine, dwarfed by the ornate pleasure boats. Her hull pitted and scattered. I'm gonna say the first one. Pleasure boats moored alongside her. Most private yachts were owned by wealthy merchants and aristocracy, who used them as glorified balloons, whereas the Hedel had worked as a whaler until recently. But she was was currently loaded with Bahrainian pearls and bound for the port of Bombay. Well, we could wait or converse. I think conversing is better. Greetings, Captain. Evening. Passepartout. Yes, I learned how to pronounce this. This is Passepartout. Let's begin our conversation about Bombay. I need to know about Bombay. I find your accent confusing. Bombay to Nova Goa, Bombay to Nevark, Bombay to Madras, Bombay to Rangoon, or Bombay to Aden. I'm going to say Aden. Here's the thing I can tell you. Some buyers will pay well for evening jackets from Aden. Aden? The rumors is some buyers will pay well for evening jackets from Aden. Goodbye. I wanted to learn a new path. I wanted to see if we could learn a new path, but we didn't get one. We departed, and I allowed my master to board first, as we customarily, and then spent the evening recovering from all the lifting and carrying a wearying start to our maritime voyage. Have strengthened our relationships. Good. But health is going down. Come on, let me converse. I want to see if we can earn another path. What is your wish, master? Past bar 2, you have my uninvited attention. Journey. How will we cross the Pacific, monsieur? There are many options. Which one will we choose will decide our route across the Americas. Well, health. Are you well? I am on fine form, but we must make haste. Very good. Very good indeed. I'm scared we're going to take more damage, aren't we? Today we rounded the famed Strait of Hormuz, an impossibly small channel of water linking the Persian Gulf with the open ocean. We nearly collided, or we navigated the sea lanes expertly, weaving past steamers flying on familiar flags and weighed down with precious cargo. I must admit, I greeted the open ocean with gratitude. After the crowded strait, and I was carried off to sleep by the rhythmic gurglings of the Hadil's boilers. And we have strengthened our relationships with Fogg again. That's good. We must have a very strong relationship with him. Let's groom him. And we spotted a whale, though apparently it was not a whale at all, but a dreaded sea monster which had recently eaten an entire steamer bound from Malacca. Hull and all. I have not heard of a beast, but apparently it was prowled all 7 seas without expectation, and was impossibly fast and deadly. Ships have been going missing for years, and there was even some talk of an international expedition to hunt the creature. The crew of the Hadil, however, had no such dreams of glory. I watched for the monster. It sounded like a maritime fancy, rather than true danger, and I dismissed such notions from my thoughts. I mean, could a sea monster really exist? Our first glimpse of Bombay was a fluttering mass of colorful sails and gaily decorated hulls. Enormous schooners and steamships were docked in the deep waters of the harbor, swarmed by little fishing vessels and sailboats. The sky was enlivened by airships in all sizes and configurations. Steam and smoke poured into the sky. Alas, I was already sweating by the time the Hadil docked. At least we didn't lose a lot of health. Never mind, we're losing more. Seems we can complete our air gear set here for protection against strong winds. Really? Air gear set. Where is it? What don't we need? I feel like there's something we don't need. I'm gonna get rid of our selling cards. And I'm gonna take my field glasses. I just realized we do not have a lot of money. So let's explore because, well, we have nothing else to do. And look at that. New paths have opened. I think we're gonna go to Calcutta because that's the farer journey. Monsieur Fogg cared not a straw for the wonders of Bombay, but gave me a few hours' leisure as he settled to his luncheon. I ended up wheezing and puffing my way up Malbur Hill, the highest point in South Bombay. I paused at the top and looked out at the bay. British airships dominated the skyline, tethered loosely to the gunboats that patrolled the docks. Bright painted merchant ships darted the harbor, eager to unload their cargo before the lights faded. Catching my breath, I found my steps irresistibly drawn towards the hanging gardens which shielded the Paris towers of silence from the bay. The tower was magnificent. Little steam-powered curricles and horse-drawn carriages vived the space underneath the shady trees. Old men played chess on the stone benches while young men and women jeered and shouted advice, which were cheerfully ignored. In the shadows of the garden, I saw the symbol of the copper lily on the door of a coveted mansion. I steered clear, finding my way back to Monsieur Fogg. I approached and knocked on the door. I know this might be bad, but I'm gonna approach. I was given a cup of tea and cushioned wicker chair almost as soon as I crossed the threshold of this outpost on the Artificers Guild. They were a varied group. Most were British or Indian, but I spotted a few Turks and Chinese. More than half were women, and all sat sipping tea together as equals and poring over periodicals. A middle-aged Sikh in a bright blue turban and admirably pressed trousers approached me. What is it you require, traveler? My master and I are going across the world. I am interested in transportation. I want to know the fastest way from here. I'm interested in transportation, I told them. What inventions have you made? The artificers bickered amongst each other in at least 6 different languages before Dharmapal, the Sikh, smiled. We have invented many small things that are useful, but not important, like caps that prevent water from falling from bottles when tipped suddenly upside down. But in transportation, we have done nothing. So the fastest route from here is the train. Perhaps. Though myself, I would head south to Colombo, where there are airships. I thanked the artificers profusely before taking my leave, though alas I was distracted by my musings that I failed to notice 2 thuggish fellows with ill intent, who cornered me in the side street and demanded my shoes. Wow. Well, this is a problem. A man's shoes are his castle, I contended, which had the laudable effect of confusing them for a few minutes while I attempted a discreet, but ultimately fruitless escape. I returned my master, barefooted, and rather ashamed. I hope this will not happen again, said my master coldly. That was to be the last word on Bombay Gateway to the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, except for, and what, pray, has happened to your shoes? Well, apparently we didn't lose anything. So, I'm fine. Let us plan, shall we? I want to go to Calcutta. Negotiate. They're asking for €790, which would leave us with too little to afford the ticket. Negotiate. Seems they're pretty demanding. The ticket will require a further 640. Nope. We're gonna sleep. We're gonna sleep. Hello. I'd like to go to Bombay. Thank you very much. We're gonna go to the hotel and pass the night. We made ourselves comfortable for the night, and I afforded my master every service. Relationships have strengthened. Can we now depart? Tomorrow at 12. I know we probably shouldn't spend another night, but we're gonna pass the night. What remained of the day, I made certain to repack and iron everything, to better ready us for this inevitable departure. Our cash reserves seem to be running low past part 2. I can't help it. We're setting out. This is my own fault. I don't care. That might be... Oh, yeah. We need to get our bank... We need to go to the bank. This is bad. The clerk who took our money counted it fastidiously and then recounted it before issuing us a ticket. A ticket to Alamad Sahib. 4 days, no faster way in the world. I nodded and thanked her. Too exhausted already to listen to sales talk after a sale has already been made. I did not trust her edge smile exactly, but I had little choice when boarded the train. Let's see. The Times. Paris World Fair, a roaring success. Did I happen to miss something? If we stayed in Paris, would we have earned something? The train started with a sharp screech, but entirely punctual. We shared our compartment with a tall, fair fellow by the name of Sir Francis with an old Indian hand. My master made no secret of the circumstances of his journey, and our friend clearly thought him entirely devoid of common sense. An uncharitable view, which he did not endear me to him. Our wager was now in full swing. I began to worry over delays and obstacles, both imagined and real. Monsieur Fogg's cool-headed demeanor seemed incroyable. It made me admire him all the more, while stiffening my resolve to aid him in winning his wager at any cost. I slept fitfully, though the berths were comfortable enough. I had an uneasy feeling about our journey across India. And we're losing a little more health, I guess we could wait. Phileas Fogg attempts round-the-world adventure. Huh, we made it into the Times. Wow, that's nice. We made it into the Times. Though it seems word is spreading fast. Today, Sir Francis told me of the regions we were passing through. Monsieur Fogg, who was not traveling, but merely describing a circumference, preferred to rebreed his edition of the Morning Post. I was more interested in acquiring new shoes. I listened eagerly to his bloody stories of Ogbrandad, capital of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, and the rock-cut temples and ancient caves at Valoria, which had Buddhist and Jain inscriptions as well as Hindu. It sounds mysterious. Mysterious, yes, and dangerous. Sir Francis shot me a serious look. There are rumors of Kali Box in the forest of Junkandad. They are devotees to Kali, the red-tongued Hindu goddess of death. I have heard rumors that these devotees have been the cause of some region disturbances. What kind of disturbances? Sir Francis sighed deeply. They've been murdering travelers, leaving the corpses on display as grotesque warnings to the British Raj. This is a recent development. I felt a certain trepidation about our route. The Kali Box operated in the territory of the independent Marihan of the Gwalior, governed by the one of Liege Raj, who died last month. The Raj's death was the start of all the trouble. Sir Francis sighed volubly again. We lapsed into comfortable silence for the rest of our journey that day. Well, I hope we don't die. So I'm just gonna groom Monsieur Fogg, because I don't want him to die. The train conductor woke us as he passed along the carriages, shouting, "Passengers will get out here." It seemed at Almerdad the track simply ran out. But there was no time to feel self-satisfied. After all, where would we go next? Where would we go next? That is a great question. And we are going to leave it off here. So everyone, this is Holiday Wither signing off. Hope you enjoyed another episode of 80 Days, and if you have, make sure to click that like button. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a nice day.